On this episode of Playlog, we're assuming Silksong is finally coming out this year. So what better time to finally do our book club on Hollow Knight? Hey everybody, CGDannyB back again with another episode of Playlog, the podcast I'm dying. The podcast we talk all things indie gaming, but of course, we can't do that alone because that's super boring. So with me, I've got my partner in crime, the Play Nice Kid themselves, Tofr. What's poppin'?
I'm slightly worried now that you're dying.
Nah, I'll be okay. I can make it through the show. After that, no promises. We see where we go.
That doesn't make it any better.
Fine. I mean, yeah, I won't get edited or anything, but I'll be like there, I guess, in spirit. I'll always be like that indie game guy. I'll be like the artist that, once I pass away, like, I really appreciated his opinions on things and I miss him so much. And the last thing I'd ever posted was what did I post last? What was the last video I posted? I did the Winterboro one. There's something after that, I think.
The review?
Eternal Strands, that's the one. Yep. Yeah. I had something after Winterboro. What was after Winterboro? I don't remember. Let me tell you what's going on with my life and why I'm frustrated. Got this chair, right? It's getting older. It's maybe 3 or 4 years old. It gets a lot of wear and tear. Used a lot. It was getting to the point where it was squeaky, right? I'd sit down like, I'm like, we got to fix that. We can't let that happen. So I got some WD-40, but I turned the chair upside down, did the spray and whatnot. But now, the chair's supposed to lean forward or lean back, so you kind of whatever. It's on a weird pivot where now it is like diagonal. So I can lean back to the right and I can read forward to the left. But I cannot just lay back. Like right now I'm leaning to the right. I can't just go back. It just goes that way. And I can't fix, so I kind of have to sit up straight all the time, or else I'm just like, and it's not great, and I don't know how to fix it.
Damn.
Yeah. So Staples, if you want to send me a new chair, I ain't looking for a gamer chair though. I've been there, done that. I'm 30. I ain't got time for gamer chairs. Then I want a regular, nice big boy office chair. You know what I mean? Something comfy.
I'm 30. I don't need a gamer chair. I turned 40 and I have a gamer chair.
Well, get a new one. I mean, what do we got here? Do we recommend this? I don't know what brand we got here. Do we like this one?
I don't remember what brand it is, but it's a really nice one.
Okay.
It's a really nice chair. It gives so much support to my lower back, which I really need at my age.
I was gonna say, once we turn 30, we old,
Yeah.
Oh man, I had like a DX Racer for like the black one with the blue highlights and the big pillow and stuff, and then I bought this one. Had some padding, but just like whatever, like generic stuff I bought off Amazon for like, it's working fine. But all the lumbar ones are always so like deep enough to like helpful, but they like shove me forward. I'm like, okay, I want to like still sit in the chair, not like, hey everybody. So I never love it. I gotta find the right one, but
okay,
we'll see. It might be new chair time soon. We'll do an unboxing. That was one of the most successful videos. I got the DX Racer. I built it on stream, and everyone's like, "Oh my god, I love this video. I know if I can buy this chair or not." So,
so this is the reason why people need to subscribe.
Exactly, because if
everyone
you don't,
watching,
you won't watch me build a chair. Well, you don't necessarily get a new chair from subscribing, but because you subscribed, you will find out that you should go get a new chair. So it kind of by proxy.
Okay.
And that's the podcast, guys. Thank you so much for watching. We're talking about chairs. Hey, guys. How we doing? Welcome. This episode is live. We're a little quiet right now, so we're just going to run this like a normal podcast. If people show up and start hanging out, awesome. But right now, we're just sticking with the good old goodness. Let me see. Before we get rolling, usually this is the part where the housekeeping, but we doing the Hollow Knight today, so we can't do. Okay, but hey guys, be sure to head over to somanygames.co.uk where Tofr is part of the writing team. The first review of the year is up, and later this week they'll be covering what might already be their game of the year for 2025. Oh my goodness, that's some big words. Ooh.
Oh, I know.
Ooh, we love it. Listen, honestly, I'm in the same boat. Just covered my current game of the year for 2025. I'm feeling it. I get it. Yeah. The other writers for the site have been kicking off their 2025 coverage as well, so be sure to check out the reviews there. Again, that is somanygames.co.uk. Go read some articles and do that fun stuff. So there's your headline for the day. But timestamp, baby. Easy peasy. No write-in questions this week, unless you got something off the cuff.
I do not.
Boom. There we have it. Bad. Then we're right into the quick indie news, ladies and gentlemen. We have one article today to talk about. Studio behind Dauntless and Fae Farm's layoffs have that was a terrible phrasing. Studio behind Dauntless and Fae Farm lays off huge amount of people. This one is from, scrolling back up, we've got Matt Wales over at Eurogamer. Let me full screen this bad boy. So Dauntless and Fae Farm studio Phoenix Labs lays off majority of employees. Dauntless and Fae Farm developer Phoenix Labs has announced another round of layoffs, its fourth since May 2023, this time affecting the majority of the staff at the studio. Phoenix Labs enjoyed early success with its first game, free-to-play Monster Hunter like Dauntless, and the studio released its second title, Fae Farm, in 2023. However, the developers have faced multiple rounds of layoffs since its acquisition by blockchain company Forte Labs in 2023, starting with job cuts impacting 9% of its workforce in May that year. A further 34 layoffs followed 7 months later, with an additional 140 jobs being cut last May. And unfortunately for employees, the layoffs have continued in 2025. Quote, "Today is another difficult day at Phoenix Labs," the developer wrote in a message posted on LinkedIn on Monday. "We've made the tough decision to part ways with the majority of the studio as part of unfortunate but necessary changes to our operations. We recognize and deeply appreciate the contributions of every individual impacted," it continued. "Their talents, dedication, and creativity have left an indelible mark on our company and our games. To our industry peers, we encourage you to reach out to these exceptional individuals. They are some of the best in the business," end quote. As for Dauntless and Fae Farm, the studio says it'll share more on their fate in the coming weeks, but notes its current focus is on supporting those affected through this transition. Phoenix Farm's announcement follows a devastating 2024 for the games industry, in which around 13,000 employees are believed to have lost their jobs. It continues a January dogged by further layoffs and studio closures. Ubisoft, for example, announced it is cutting 185 jobs this week, while Jar of Sparks, a studio founded by Halo Infinite head of design Jerry Hook, confirmed it had laid off all its team earlier this month. Last year, Chris Dring shared his thoughts with Eurogamer on why these layoffs are happening, and that is a whole separate article, so we won't jump into that right there. But another day, another round of layoffs, Tofr. We don't love it.
No, we don't. But the thing is, I had no idea that the developers were like part of a blockchain company,
right?
Since last year or since 2 years ago, and it's almost as if blockchain isn't sustainable.
Yeah,
who would have guessed?
A lot of people, but not people.
But yeah, it's not a laughing matter, is it?
Yeah.
So many people once again. I mean, the year has only started, and we've already had quite a bunch of layoffs already.
Yeah, this sucks. Like. It's the beating the dead horse, right? Of every time we get this headline, like, what more can you say than this sucks? Like, be better to your employees, the people who make your games. I can't speak on Fae Farm. I've never played it. I did jump into Dauntless quite a bit when it first dropped on PlayStation. I was a really big fan of it. In a space where I had kind of played out Monster Hunter World, we were waiting for the next Monster Hunter. This was like a nice indie, slower or smaller, more compact version of Monster Hunter. I really got into it. Eventually fell out, and I remember while we were at PAX Unplugged this year, the news dropped like, hey, it's updated on Steam, the new version of Dauntless. But they did the whole thing where like they took a bunch of content out of the game and made it like microtransactions. So things you would have already unlocked just by playing became like, if you want it, buy it again. And I'm like, so it was just overwhelmingly negative on Steam for that time. And I can only imagine, right, the people who made the game in the first place weren't the ones who wanted to make that happen. I'm sure it came from, the place of the, yeah, so we hate that. That sucks. I hope the best for everybody who has lost their position. I guess anyone who is still there, wishing the best, or if it is a jump ship kind of situation, hope you find a safer ground to land on there, because that's rough. That's always tough.
Yeah, absolutely.
I hate it. We should make a studio. Hire everybody.
When I get the money, I totally will.
I think we'd afford 13,000 salaries.
Yeah. I mean, if I became the new CEO of Twitter,
okay,
I could make all of the money. I could make all of the money, right?
I would love a world where hear me out. This is what I would do. I get Twitter, right? Yeah. I am selling the infrastructure, the things that make Twitter work in the best way. None of the people, none of this, the things that function, I'm giving those to Blue Sky. and I'm shutting down Twitter. I'm shutting down X, whatever we're calling it. I'm like, hey guys, it was a great run. These 3 hours have been awesome. Go to Blue Sky. Like, it's better. They're about to have the thread options and everything. They're going to have everything that Twitter has that you love, except if you're a toxic person, you're not allowed in here. There's a toxic test to start.
Oh, okay. I was just going to say, like, you need Twitter to exist for, like, those kinds of people.
You're right. That's what we do. Okay, then we take double back. We take the features we talked about. We send them to Blue Sky. We get rid of Gronk, whatever the fuck that shit is. The AI, whatever they put in there. I have no clue. Okay. Sorry, Gronk's. I think it's Grok. Someone I don't know. Who uses Twitter?
I don't know.
It's an AI thing they have in there. It's their like Chat GPT, whatever. We're just like, hey guys, keep this, have fun, make a game out of it. And there's like, oh, I'm distracted by the thing. And they'll be like, while they're at it, be like, hey, was this salute actually racist? Like, yeah, whatever.
It was Roman.
Listen. Do I believe him? No. Do I think it's funny? All the people defending him are like, do it yourself. And they're like, okay. We're like, nope. That's not what he did. No, do it right. The fact you're not doing it right means that we're right. Dummies. Yeah. Anyway, this isn't a political show. Sorry about that, guys. Also, Hypnotic was popping, homie. How you doing today? Looking beautiful on this beautiful Tuesday afternoon. Timestamp. Which means now, with the sadness out of the way, it's time to get into the topic of the show, Tofr. I don't know if you'll be able to hear it, but for chat. Really setting the tone there.
If you can't hear it.
I sure hope it came through. Otherwise, that's like 15 seconds of silence for everybody. But for audio listeners, I have a stuffed shade sitting right here on the desk, which means it's time to finally do our book club for Hollow Knight. A little bit behind the scenes before we get into our discussions on the game. An introduction, if you haven't heard of Hollow Knight before, it was developed by Team Cherry, originally released back in February 24th, 2017 for Steam. Then it came out on Switch January 12th in 2018, and then September 25th in 2018 it came to PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. Currently it is sporting a 90 on Metacritic, as well as an overwhelmingly positive review on Steam with over 35,000 reviews. I think when I looked, I don't know how Steam does their thing. It said 350,000. I think I read that wrong. 350,999 reviews. I'm like, is it one review away from 351,000? I have it on PlayStation, so I can't just. Thank you, Hypnotic. I will be sure to check out here in a second. Thank you. But yes, so in case, again, if you're not familiar with Hollow Knight, it is a difficult Metroidvania about little bug man exploring a little bug world. It's a great time. There's that. Tofr, first impressions on Hollow Knight. How are we feeling?
The first impressions were really good.
Okay.
The visual style immediately drew me in.
Mm-hmm.
Like the graphics are easily one of the highlights of this game, of the many highlights of this game. Gameplay wise, I was wondering if this is gonna be my kind of game.
Okay. Just like from a challenge standpoint, just overall gameplay itself, it was just a combination of everything.
The challenge, mostly.
Gotcha.
I am not good at difficult games,
mm-hmm.
and I was hoping that like people warned me that this is a difficult game.
Yeah.
And I was like, maybe they're like,
maybe they're just bad.
Maybe. But yeah, I quickly found out why they said it was difficult.
Yeah, 100%. I had started about the end of December, started getting into it. We had about the month to play. I remember having a difficulty with it back when I played it on Switch. And that was just me like, I wasn't the best, at video games. So, I've gotten better. I'm sure I'll be fine. It was definitely still challenging. It was not enough to the point to like deter me. I thoroughly enjoyed my time playing through Hollow Knight. I actually got to finish Hollow Knight this time. So I've rolled credits on Hollow Knight. I've beaten Hollow Knight. I even made a post on Blue Sky where I was like, this feels weird. Like, I feel like it ended. So not to say the game is anticlimactic, but my experience felt anticlimactic. Like, I felt like me as a person would have felt different, being like, I finally beat Hollow Knight, as opposed to, I beat Hollow Knight today, huh? Okay. So it's
Okay.
very strange. And I say that again to clarify, like it's not like a thing on the game. It just felt like you strive to do something for so long in life, right? And there's so many other things and like career paths, New Year's resolution, etc. Like you hit those goals, and you're like, I did it, I made it. And Hollow Knight kind of felt like that for such a long time because I always wanted to go back and play it and commit to it and beat it. And I finally didn't. It just didn't feel like I did anything, It's weird. I don't know how else to explain it. I think as we get into maybe talking about the gameplay and the bosses, I might have some like further clarity on myself with it. But all that aside, I loved Hollow Knight. I love the vibe. Again, visually, I think that's the best thing about Team Cherry stuff is just the world, which now has me more jazzed for Silksong to see like what new environments or what returning environments show up. So I could be like, oh, this looks just as cool, or holy shit, how'd they make this one look cooler? Like that's dope. But yeah, really, really, really fucking liked Hollow Knight.
Nice. Now, before we go any further, I have to apologize to both the listeners and you, Danny, because I did not get very far in Hollow Knight.
Oh no!
The challenge got too much for me, and like the way my mental health has been deteriorating the last couple of months, I just couldn't manage getting to one of the bosses and then dying and having to go all the way back.
Yep.
And traveling all the way back to the boss to then get my ass handed to me again. It got to me. It really got to me, and I'm pretty sad about it because I was looking forward to seeing if this was the game that could get me into more difficult games.
Yeah.
And it just wasn't.
Yeah, it's definitely it's tough to think that, right? Where, like I said, I was like, oh, I was so good at it like before. I'm sure I could be fine this time. And I 1000% had my skill checks, right? In moments where I would clown on a bunch of enemies, I'd find a mini boss, I'd beat it in the first try. I'm like, oh, you're nothing. Then I get to a real boss, and this one's just like, oh, you wanted to play? Today's the day, buddy. And just beat the shit out of me. And then I get fast travel back to my last checkpoint. And then there were moments where I'm like, there's definitely got to be a bench closer because this is across the map. Like, there's no way they expect me to do this every time. So I'd like go get my shade, because when you die, you drop your shade, which has all your geo, your money, etc. in it. So then you got to travel back there, get it, or else if you die before you get it, you lose everything you had. So I grab that and then start exploring. Okay, where could this be? I'm like, okay, up here. Up there's a hole in the roof. Found a new bench. Great, perfect. As I got later in the game and I hit that point of like, I feel like I've explored everything. Like, I don't really know what's left. I know there's more of this map, but I can't find it. Or like, I'm at skill checks where I can't complete it. So how can I get better at it? I ended up pulling up, like, there's a Reddit map that just has a whole display of like, here's everything. Here's where this upgrade is. Here's where a mask piece is to increase your health. Here's where this character is. I'm like, bet I'm using this moving forward. So I was like, cool, I got this. So if I go down around, loop up here, I beat this guy, come down, I got to beat that boss to get that way. Okay, so if I go back the other way, I can get this health upgrade. That's one extra health. So I could definitely do that. Boom. And like made that my process towards like the latter half of the game. And so I hit like the final section of, not really a spoiler, but the way the game kind of directs you to the end is there's 3 bosses that envelop the world, where you have to go to their location, kind of complete a level, not even beat a boss. Like, there's usually a boss in between, but the finality of it is just finding a spirit, taking their mask, and once you have all 3, you unlock the final encounter, and then you beat the game after that. So once I got hit that point, I was like, okay, so now I just blip, blop, bloop, do my thing, complete the challenges, and then roll credits. Yeah. So yeah, it was humbling. It was humbling sometimes. There's one boss that's been about 3 days on where I was like, you motherfucker, let me beat you. I can't fucking beat you. Not even a spoiler, but it's Hornet. So the main character from Silksong. I got her first encounter. She gave me a rough time, but I beat her. Her second encounter in like the snowy area. Fucking shit. God damn it. Fuck.
I saw your Blue Sky post about that.
I put on Blue Sky. I was just like, listen, I don't mean it, but this fight makes me hope Silksong never comes out. I swear to God. But that it was such a, it's so weird, right? Because I will sit here and I've complained about Souls likes and why I don't like them. And that converted into, I complained about FromSoft games and why I don't like them. And it's a vibe and it's a feel thing that it's so hard to differentiate because it is such a personal thing. But Silksong had me keep going each time where I'd go find the boss, or sorry, not Silksong, Hollow Knight had me go to the point where I'd find this boss. I'm beating him up. I'm losing. How did he get me this time? Okay, he has this attack. How do I know when he's going to do that? Okay, he makes this, or his body freezes like this. It goes like, charge up. I got it. When he does that, haul ass the other way. Or like dash behind him because he only shoots it forward. Like it was that process of learning the attacks and what's going to come at me to then just quickly snap past me. Like, okay, you missed me on that one, sucker. Smack him with everything else that I can. Take a damage, run away, heal. Just find that flow of how do I beat this guy. And again, Hornet just said, "Oh, it's nice that you learn. Fuck you. You don't get. It doesn't matter what you do." But it was rewarding, right? The same way I hear people say like it was rewarding to beat a boss in Dark Souls and an Elden Ring, and I get that. I lose that vibe so much when I'm playing those From Software games. But Hollow Knight was just like, you bastard. I was so close this time. I could feel the end of that screen, like I'm going again. Let me see. So Tofr, I might have missed it, but how many bosses did you beat, if you don't mind me asking?
I think about 3 or 4.
Okay. Do you know which ones they were? By like, maybe not by name, but like characteristics or...
It's been a while since
Sure.
I played the game the last time. I remember playing Hornet, and then there were like two after that. 2 bosses after that, I think. But I don't remember which ones they were.
Trying to think, because
they were all on the western side of the. They're all on the western side of the map.
Okay. My head's just like, damn, he went on to like not the abyss, or the fucking the nest or whatever, the dusk nest, something like that. I'm like, that's a hard place, but I doubt that's this. It was probably more like the fog canyon or something in that range. Yeah. I can't think of which bosses. You guys chat, you might be like, oh yes, of course, these guys will be there. Oh, you're both talking about Hollow Knight? Is that the game where you fight the sun? Yes, I'm joking. I mean, not. I haven't fought what I guess would be the sun, but like I think there's one that's very radiant, if you will, that like that I've not gone that path. I think that's more for a completionist type deal. We'll see what that looks like in the future. But yeah, I think as we like get ready to talk more, I think we've both played this game before and didn't finish it, correct? Like before this session. Okay. Do you remember did you get further last time? Was it even less progression there? I don't know if you remember or not.
I got further this time because last time I got stuck at an elevator and I just didn't know how to switch it on. I managed to do that this time. I think the first time I played it, I just basically went like when you go down the first time underground, and you go straight down. That was the only area that I managed to explore that time. While now I managed to like unlock the western side of the map.
Okay.
Where like everything's pretty green and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was mostly that part of the game that I managed to explore this time. And I'm glad I got further. And the thing is, I think I'm going to return to this game sometime in the future.
Okay.
Because I feel if my mental health were a bit better, that I would maybe be able to withstand the challenge.
Yeah. I get that. I would love to see you be able to come back and play more of it as so like in a place where I thoroughly enjoy this. And I made the Instagram post, right, of like, hey guys, this is our book club for the month. And a friend messaged me, was like, hey, that's awesome. I've been thinking about picking it up and like, should I do it? And I was like, technically, I'm like, I haven't played it yet. I haven't beaten the game. I'm like, yeah, I really enjoyed it last time and I want to continue to enjoy it. But I was like, I know it's hard. I know it's challenging. So like, know that. But yeah, having finished it now, I still felt the glory each time beating one of the bosses. But I think, as I mentioned earlier, like these 3 bosses that you need to complete the game, that unlock the final boss. That final boss was such a not problem for me. I think it took me about 5 tries before I like beat the game. Where I was like, that was compared to the others where I'm like, let me ready and fight this boss. Oops, that one died. Here, time number 20, time number 30, 40, you know, these long hauls of getting better at the fight. Whereas like the final boss I beat after like 3 or 4 tries, which is, just watch us get fucking fucked on this platforming level. Damn it. But yeah, I think that's where I was saying earlier, I think that's where my dissatisfaction came from. Where I'm so bad at this game. I fucking jumped over a plot. Fuck me. Chat, change the footage. I'm getting distracted looking how bad I am. But yeah, I beat, I was like, oh, I beat stage 1. Like, here comes the hard part. And then, like, the ending came up and the credits rolled. I was like, huh, I'm still, right? It's going to be one of those fake out, like, the credits roll, like, psych, come here, bitch. And, like, I get hit by something else, but never happened. So I don't know if that was I didn't do enough. Like, I was like, oh, you didn't find all these collectibles, which make it the hard mode, or you didn't do all the, I know there's like trials to complete, right? And you do all these other different levels and stuff. And maybe that's where the real challenge is. I have to go back and do that. But, yeah, just beating like the actual final boss was really easy. And I think that's where my like dissatisfaction sounds like is I did not like the end. My just being unsatisfied. I was like, huh, I didn't feel as joyful or as like accomplished by the time I finished this game like I thought I would.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's funny to hear you talk about the real challenge and when it gets really difficult. While I'm here sitting like, oh no, I couldn't play this game. It was too hard.
What do you mean? What do you mean the real challenge? Let me
now the thing is, what makes the game so difficult for me is actually one of its strong points. Because the combat is like, it's deceptively simple.
Okay.
You have your needle, and like you can get like power-ups for it to do more damage and stuff. But every attack you do is based around your needle. It's not like you get like super combos and I don't know. The combat is really. Oh boy! Sorry, I just watched you fall down.
I was like, it seems like the nicest way down, so these guys aren't grabbing me on the way down.
But it makes the combat really skill based.
Yeah,
which I think is a really cool move. But the thing is, when you don't have the skills, it makes it really tough.
Yeah, it's I hate the mentality. I've always hated get good. I hate it.
Yeah.
I understand it, and I think there's like get good specifically is a like you suck, like stop sucking, as opposed to like, hey, it is a skill thing of like you just gotta get the muscle memory down of how to do a thing, and that's such a long-winded way of saying get good. But yeah, get good comes with the toxicity of like you suck, fuck you, don't play the games if you can't be good. But yeah, no, I wish there was that accessibility option for Hollow Knight, and I'm hoping that I get to see that with Silksong, which I won't lie, I'm not expecting it. But I'd love to see like an accessibility mode of like, yeah, you're good. If you're struggling with the difficulty, we understand that from the first game. We're still going to have those things for fans who want it. But if you want to experience the story, you want to experience this world, let's have that option. I'm really hoping that's the case. We've heard so little about it, so I don't know.
It would be cool because I had some frustrations, mainly because of my skill issues, but for example, you collect souls.
Yep.
To power up your attacks or to heal yourself, but so many times, especially during boss battles, I try to heal and I immediately lose the part of health that I had just gained.
Fucking hornet
coming so quickly, and it's probably an issue on my part, but I just couldn't find out like the correct way to do it or something.
100%. There absolutely, there's windows, but they are so narrow, right? And I'll bring this up. I don't think I caught any footage of the second Hornet fight. I think everything I have here is pretty early on. But yeah, like the second Hornet fight, she has 4 major moves, which are a lot of dives, dashes. She'll run at you with a spear and stab you. She'll throw a spear, all these kind of things. And when you, I think it's like 3 or 4 stages of fighting her. Once you complete those, she a stage, she'll be like, just like a little panting animation of like, this is the shot I have. This is, if I don't do it now, I will not get out. Usually I could get off 2 or 3 healings in that moment if I did it like right on time. But I ended up putting on some of the charms where like I would put like poison clouds in the air the moment I would heal. So as I would heal, I'd put that up and would stagger her a little bit as she'd come in to fight. It would slow her down a bit. So I could get in like a 3rd or 4th heal, depending on the moment. But yeah, so you saying like I'd heal and then lose it. I'm like, yep, that was the story of my life. And like so many of these boss fights where I'm like, I don't have a window. There's a mini boss fight on the, maybe it's more of the boss fight. Cause again, there's no like final bosses in these areas. But for like the second mask, I wish I memorized the names of the map, like the places on the map. I'm like blanking, but there is a room full of these like roly-poly bugs that you have to fight. and they get filled with like the orange goo gas, whatever it's called. And as you like go to fight one and you're like halfway done with him, another one wakes up. So you have two of these giant roly-polies that come in with swords, and if you're too far away, they'll start jumping at you and do like a bouncing effect, or they'll just steamroll across the map, which is easy to do with one, but the moment you have two, you have like, I'm like, there's so much on this screen that there's not a dream of me trying to heal. And it was like, I had to skirt them to the far side, let them slam into the wall, and then I'm like, quick, run, dash, heal one. And as they come rolling again, like, it was frames where I'm like, I could barely make this where I could heal and get away with some of my life. Like, the challenge is 100% there. And yeah, as I stand by the, like, it's the practice. And I say this now thinking, like, I did that so much with Cuphead. Like, I think it was just the addiction to Cuphead. It's just like, 2D platformers? Nah, man, let the frustration stick. I'm gonna knock this out. I'm gonna put this boss on the floor, dude. Oh boy. Let me see here. We talked about completing the game. So you had mentioned some of the backstory stuff. I think you had an article. I don't know if that was like bullet pointed or if there's any like highlights to bring up. Or...
It's a giant article that I'm not gonna read right now because there's so much lore to this game, and it's easily another part of the game that I really like is how alive the world feels. Like there's a history to this place. And things have happened, and the inhabitants are still feeling the effects of what happened before.
Yeah.
And it's interesting to read about it, but at the same time, I was going to ask you if during your time with the game, you managed to find out more of this backstory through hints in like certain areas or something, because I played less than 10 hours, but I still played a number of hours, and I had no idea about any of the backstory.
I'm sure it was all there. I'm sure there was so much I could have seen. I was so fixated on the gameplay and the combat that the narrative was, if it wasn't something of like one of the characters being like, oh man, this creature summoned me and she said that I am her loyal soldier, or like that's what we have to do. Like I can recollect moments like that. But like as far as, you know, picking up articles and reading things, and like there's not a lot of those type of collectibles. This isn't like a Resident Evil, right, where I'm picking up a newspaper and reading some shit. But like in the environmental world telling, right, like environmental storytelling, you're seeing the not Dirtmouth, the first area right underneath Dirtmouth, where you're like, oh, this is like the simple area, right? And then as you progress through the story and make enough progress, like that area becomes infected. All the creatures that are there are now like filled with this orange goo, and they explode, and they're filled with, there's new characters that'll fly at you, and as soon as you kill one, they become a bomb and they'll detonate like 2 seconds after. Like the starting area becomes a lot more ferocious, right? And it's one of those things I'm like, shit, this was cool to see this part of the world evolve, which is one of the things I'm looking forward to the most with Silksong, of being, I don't know if it's a prequel, I don't know if it's a sequel, I don't know if we're continuing or starting or where that's at, but I want to see the evolution of, Cannon Blossom, thank you so much for the follow, I appreciate it. I want to see that world change, right? I want to see what we've seen here in Hollow Knight, and in Silksong, like, am I going to see Dirtmouth evolve? Or am I going to, again, if it's a prequel, am I going to see a smaller version of Dirtmouth? I'm like, oh, this is where this started from, or this is what it became, right? And seeing that evolution of the world is like probably the most exciting thing for me, outside of wondering what in the world is Hornet's moveset going to be. With, you already mentioned, right, how focused the moveset is on the needle in Hollow Knight, right? Where everything else builds upon it. Hornet, just doing encounters with her, I was like, fuck, she has so much that she can do, so many different things that she can implement. We've already seen her do a little like thread weave nest of doom type thing. I'm like, what is when am I going to be able to do that? Is that going to be like my final move? 'Cause I'm going to be pissed if I got to wait till the end to do that. But like, I think it's going to be lit. You get Blossom, thank you so much for joining. Mwah! Welcome. Sorry, Tofr, I interrupted you.
No problem. Do you get an explanation who she is?
Again, probably. Probably.
Okay. It's probably. Just like, for example, did you realize that the player character is a vessel just like the Hollow Knight is?
Yes, 100%. Because like for so long, right? Like the Hollow Knight, like, oh, it's the main character, you're the Hollow Knight, like you're, and like, no, you're not, but like, yeah, you're the knight, right? And then there is the Hollow Knight, right? It's kind of like the vessel, I guess the original vessel. But yeah, as you progress, right, further you get down, and not so much spoiler territory, but you reach a more like graveyard type area where you're finding just like the empty husks, and you're finding more of like the shades of like the leftover spirits of these characters who have died, and you're like fighting them, but because they aren't creatures that you can take souls from, like you don't gain anything. Normally you fight an enemy, you recharge your special attack move, and you can keep doing that. But all these just, you know, shades zipping around doing their thing, they're not giving you anything to upgrade. Like it becomes a lot more challenging because what you normally use to keep yourself alive is not accessible to you. You have to like, fuck, I have to either avoid this or precision accurate, like beat these things without taking damage. And that can get easier as you continue to just upgrade your health. I feel like just from exploring without using the map, I found all the health upgrades I possibly could have. And I'm like, oh, there's probably more, but I don't know. I don't see any.
Okay.
Yeah. Fuck. I need someone smarter than me to get like the YouTube video of like, hey, what's Hornet? This fucking big ass bitch on the screen. Audio listeners won't know, but like this is the guy. This is I think the first boss I took out. This motherfucker's just bouncing around, annoying me. This is the spot of like, oh look, I just healed and then lost it again because homie wouldn't leave me alone. Oh man, combat's a time.
It really is. I think if you're actually good at video games, unlike me, well, then you'll probably really enjoy the combat here.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Because it like the controls run butter smooth, and combat is so swift, and everything is just so responsive. I can imagine if you're good at it, you're gonna really enjoy it here.
Yeah,
despite its simplicity.
100%. Yeah, and even when we say like the simplicity, right? There's more. Not enough to say it's complex combat. There is more complexity to it, right? So you get these charms, which you can equip that'll do different things for you. I mentioned earlier, like when I heal, I had one that would put poison in the air. So if anything came around me, they would take damage. So it gave me a little more room to deal damage while I'm trying to heal and escape and let them get distracted with whatever. I had ones that would charge my my souls if I got hit, or give me additional souls when I would do damage, right? So I always had this little thing of get myself to my super moves faster. But there were dash abilities. Some of the characters I love the most, and there's not a lot of time with them, but they are the nail masters. I think it's Oro and Mato are the two that I found. I don't know if there's any more, but they upgrade your nail. So you do a little bit more damage. They give you new upgrades. So like the one gives me like a dash, or so I can hold and charge, and then I do like a big smack, which does more damage. And the second one, if I hold and then dash, I do that big damage while moving in on someone. So that's how I ended up taking out Hornet in the end, where like as she would do an attack, I'm getting fucking throttled in this room over here on this footage. Holy shit. But I would like charge up a move. I see her like she goes, as soon as her attack is done, dash in, smack, dash away, right? So I'm like, I know I hit a big chunk of damage, but then I got to get away to make sure she doesn't just retaliate real quick, because I know she will. And then I have maybe a third of the charms in the game. Like I have not gotten anywhere near all of them, but they give you this extra benefit, right? Like one is so simple, it just gives you your point on the map, which is maybe a weird thing to equip. I guess I it sounds to me like, oh, I should just see where I'm at on the map anyway. But even as you're exploring, like you don't have a complete map. This isn't just a walk in somewhere and find it. There's not the cartographer, Cornifer, I think his name is the map guy. The map guy is in every section of the map, and he's sitting there planning out this whole section of the world and humming to himself and be like, and you like that's your hint. Like he's here, but where is he? You go upstairs and he gets quiet. I'm like, no, he's not up there. So is he there? And then you go to the right and he gets louder. I'm like, oh, I'm getting there. And he's just like, oh, hello. Would you like a map? That'll be $120. I'm like, oh man, up here. And if you find him and don't have enough money, you can kind of explore a little bit and find it. But if you go too far away, he'll just leave and be like, hey, come meet me in Dirtmouth. You go to his shop. He'll be like, hey, you could buy the map here now. So you don't have to stay there, but it's better for you to get the map while you're there and continue to explore. Because when you sit at the bench, the knight sits down and writes, okay, now I have a full vision of what this map is. You can see the hallways you couldn't reach, and the hidden areas that you found, or where the benches were, or where other shops are, where other bosses are, and it leaves those things available for you. But if you don't have the map, you don't have a visual of that. I mean, unless you're using Reddit like I am. But yeah, the characters are definitely great. As someone who didn't spend a lot of time like talking and having conversations with them, it was a lot more just like on the visual design or what they did for me. Like is Zelda, I believe is her name. She is the first shop you get in the game, and she's like bumpanada and just sits there hanging out with you, giving you some gems and stuff. I love her. She's great. She doesn't do anything. She's kind of like, she's got the sassy bored like cashier vibe, like, I'm working today, what's going on?
She's the wife of the map maker,
right, yeah, she's so unenthusiastic's not the word, but she's kind of the whole game. I don't think unless there's more to it that I haven't unlocked, but she kind of just chills. She's like, hey, you want to buy some stuff? Cool. Yeah. And then you unlock some other shop, or there's a guy down further. He's like, I've been down here for a long time. I guess I can go back up to Dirtmouth. And then you'll like expand Dirtmouth a little more. You get more shops and more things to explore, more people to run into. And some, again, I didn't have a lot of conversations with characters in this game. I'm getting throttled by this motherfucking bug. But you can see like, even where I sat here struggling with some of these fights, where I'm like, fuck, I know I can get him. I got dumb. I got slow. They got me. I gotta not let that happen. Another character I think looks super cool, again, isn't big on narrative, but like still has a little bit of story there, is the stag beetle, which is the fast travel system. And you find the first one, I don't think anything happens. Once you find the second one, you just hear the stampede through a hallway. I'm like, uh-oh. And this big guy's like, hey, you've unlocked the gates. Yeah, if you do da-da-da-da-da, if you find more of these, you can come back and I'll take you around the map. And it's, I think where I'm at, I had like 10 fast travel stations, 9 maybe. But yeah, you get this really cool stag beetle. It's just like, got it. I'm gonna take you where you need to go, buddy. And you ring the bell. He comes scurrying in. You hop on. Where do you want to go? He takes you there, and it's. I mean, I don't have to explain fast travel to people. I'm sure anyone who's played a game knows. But yeah, it's really cool. Is there a parry or is there a block or nothing at all? There is not a parry. I wouldn't say there's not like a dedicated block button, but you can typically block a regular, like enemies like this, you can block an attack by like hitting them, right? So if you have someone with a sword, which a lot of characters don't, there are some like mini bosses who do have swords and shields. If you swing at them as they swing at you, I guess you could say that's a parry, but we're not talking like Sekiro or like a monster, not Monster Hunter, another type of game where you'd be like, if I hit LB right at the time, like ting, like it doesn't have a moment like that, but you can. I think the bigger thing, at least for my kit, was dashing as opposed to trying to like parry or anything. But yeah, there's definitely a way if you want to play that way, by swinging out and stopping their attacks with your own. Yeah. Great question, Hypnotic. Thank you for asking. Let me see. We talked gameplay. We talked difficulty. You had theories on here. This might be another, like, what do you think might happen? I'm like, I don't know. I didn't talk to people. I beat people up. This was my genocide run.
The thing is that there seem to be a lot of interpretations of this game, and there's I read some essays on the game instead of playing it.
Yeah, that's honestly valid.
Yeah, and there's some interesting questions there, like why do the bugs wear masks?
Because they're cool.
What role do dreams play in this world? Did the bugs gaining consciousness do something to them, and was this a good or a bad thing? It's really interesting stuff to think about, but I since I haven't completed the game, I have no idea.
Yeah, right. Well, I have completed a game and I have no idea. But again, I think that's just, it's interesting, right? Maybe I'm calling myself out on this. I am so good at accepting a narrative that is given to me directly, right? Where it's just like, hey, like talking about something like Celeste, right? With Madeline doing her thing, going up, and we find our friends, and we get the hotel keeper who's like, hey, I'm a crazy guy. What are you doing up here? Like we meet, our darker side. Like I get to see this narrative so front and center, and it makes sense to me. Whereas in this game, I was the action, the combat, the exploration was so much more front facing than the narrative bits. I didn't take a lot of time to really absorb that. And now, You know, we talked about something similar when we talked about mouthwashing of like, oh, now I got to see these like theory videos and what do people think of, you know, oh, I didn't contemplate this thing on my first playthrough, and just seeing what people say, like, you know, when you find this, like, there's another, can't think of the name. It's another like knight that is kind of like dilapidated. The skull's cracked open. You can see like the orange ooze squeezing out the back, and you're like, interesting. Like, I don't know who you are or what you are. I can tell you're a previous version of me, but you're a lot bigger and you're a lot stronger. So like, I have to imagine there's a deeper lore to that character that wasn't directly given to me, so I don't know what it is. But someone out there is just like, oh yeah, if you pay attention in chapter 1, this guy comes in and you're like, oh, I found his body upstairs, but he reincarnates by digging through the crust or blah blah. Like, I don't know, I'm making this shit up as I go along now, but
it sounds plausible. I mean,
listen, I made it up. But if we need to do some storytelling, listen, Silksong's not out yet. What do you need? You need a writer? I'll come up with something. I'll come up with something about bugs.
Another interesting thing to me was that I saw people mention that Hollow Knight was many people's game of the year year after it came out.
Yep.
Because it just did not get the recognition
in
2017. Now, I have to say, I looked up the Game Awards nominations for Indie Game of the Year in 2017.
Ooh, hold on, I gotta hear this.
What Remains of Edith Finch
Sure.
was nominated. Pyre by Supergiant Games.
Okay, interesting pick.
In there. Night in the Woods.
Okay. Trash game. Got it.
Hellblade Senua's Sacrifice.
Yikes, that's a big one.
Yeah. And then there was this stupid game that won that was called Cuphead.
Yeah, I never heard of it. I don't know.
He wants to play as a cup.
I do. I have my marionettes right there. Which that's insane, right? That's crazy to me because like I know 2017 was not the year for Hollow Knight, and I think that started in a world where I said weird because like people have had computers forever, but also indie games were so much smaller than like not even like in scale of the game, but in recognition. And hearing that list, right? Even I'm trying to think if I went now and looked at 2017, I could probably find 5 games that I could swap out for that list. Be like, yes, this equally was as deserving. Maybe not with Edith Finch and Hellblade because those are kind of bangers. Pyre, a little less so.
Night in the Woods.
I never heard of that one. I've seen. Not it was like it was our first book club. No. But yeah, No, I didn't hear about Hollow Knight until it dropped on Switch. Like, it was not one that crossed my path, and I think that's when most people played it. That's when most people heard about it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, hearing that it was, like, the 2018, like, shit, this is out last year? Damn, I wish I knew. Like, and that has now established what this studio is making now with Silksong and the legacy behind it and, like, oh, how good can this game be? And I say this right off the tails of Earthblade getting canceled, right? And I made that video. I mentioned the video. I'm like, this is one of those sucky things of like the news that dropped on Wednesday, the day after we record, the day before the episode comes out. So it looks like we ignored news type deal. Which, listen, if some crazy shit drops tomorrow as of recording this, I might have to make another news video. We'll see. But like we're gonna need like the red alert episode. I'm like, quick, Tofr, get on Discord right now. We got to talk about something. But
3 a.m. Fuck.
Exactly. Listen, you got to be ready, buddy. You committed to this. I need you up. Bright eye and bushy tail. 2 a.m. But no, like I got a bunch of comments of people being like, "Gee, I hope this doesn't happen to Silksong. I hope like the hype doesn't." Like I had some a long narrative about like why we shouldn't hype up games or we shouldn't hype up studios because it leads to failure. And I hadn't responded because I really wanted to think about it myself. I'm like, no. That's bullshit. If your statement is don't hype up indie games, I'm like, nah, fight me on it. I'm gonna hype up every indie game that I can. And like, I see the argument, but even talking about Earthblade, right? Like the whole thing with Earthblade wasn't, we had too much hype behind us. We failed at meeting expectations. No. The whole thing was that they didn't go in a lot of detail about was we've had some ownership issues and figuring out what we want to do with the IP. And that becomes, what do we do with this team? We have someone that's working on another project and they decided to go full send on that after we decided to kind of disband the team a little bit. And like, it wasn't too many people were excited for Earthblade, so we stopped making it. That's a good problem to have. Sure, it can lead to more, more scrutiny and more people paying attention to like the flaws in your game. But I don't sit here and think like, oh man, too many people are excited for Silksong. It's not coming out. Like that's not. I don't think that's a problem that they would have. I just imagine. I think this is another case of those like this was supposed to be DLC that just grew bigger, right? Like this is something so much larger scale than they had envisioned. Like, all right, that's a full game. How much bigger has it gotten? More than we planned. Like I can't wait to see the scope of this game and see what it evolves into. But absolutely. Yeah, no, I can only disagree with the idea of like don't hype up a studio or their next game won't be good, because that's absurdity to me. That's insane. But
I get it, but at the same time, when thinking of Silksong, that might be the only game where I think there might be some truth to it.
Sure, I understand.
Just because, like the amount of hype is getting to a place where the game cannot possibly live up to the hype.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I mean, every single showcase where indies get mentioned, people are like, a Silksong here.
Yep.
And does that mean that Team Cherry is gonna like buckle under the pressure? Maybe not, but I think people might end up disappointed just because of the hype they've created in their own heads.
Sure, 100%. I don't see a world where people aren't disappointed. And yeah, I don't think necessarily the hype behind it will or will not affect review scores. I think that's a whole separate conversation. But yeah, just in terms of the game won't come out because too much hype is absurd to me. That, kind of reflecting on that guy. But no, like I think it's the same argument why Valve will make a Half-Life 3. Like this game's been dreamed of for 20 years. I couldn't tell you when Half-Life 2 came out. But like so many people are like, oh, I want a Half-Life 3. And if we dropped Half-Life 3 tomorrow, they're like, shadow drop. We've been working on this for 10 years. It's the game you've all dreamed of. Like, this isn't as good as it could be. We didn't get you the Gordon story. We didn't do, this is all you did with the gravity. I thought you'd have time to make more features. And like, there will be complaints to have because the game's just not good enough. Any game has the chance to do that. And I think it just depends on who's the right audience talking about it as opposed to who's the wrong audience talking about it. And for some reason, as gamers, we just like to hate on things. And there's going to be people who are just like, Silksong's out. I can't wait to rip it to shreds because I have nothing better to do with my life. Or I genuinely just don't want to like the game, so I'll find everything wrong with it and not find any joy in it. And like that sucks to me. But I still think many people are going to love Silksong enough that it's another indie darling. Will it be as loved as Hollow Knight? TBD. But
we'll see.
Yeah, we will see.
Could you imagine though, if this was the moment in the podcast where we could be like, and in a Playlog world premiere,
Tofr, I'm glad you said something.
Silksong.
Ladies and gentlemen, you weren't ready for this. Right now, we're announcing the release date of Silksong. Okay, we're not. We're not. By the way, we're not. We don't have that. I'm sorry.
Could you imagine?
I mean, listen. I mean, I'll shoot a DM to Team Chair. I'll see what they're thinking. Maybe next week's episode. Yeah, next week we drop the release date for Silksong. I did want to show this off because I bought the collector's edition late last year because it was on sale at a closing game store here, and it came with this little medallion of the Hollow the Knight. And I thought I'm gonna try and focus on my face here.
Oh, that's really cool.
Right? It comes like one of those little like book stand things. So now that it's out, I might actually set it up somewhere. But yeah, you just put on a little fucking pedestal. You're like, bubble. Sorry, audio listeners. This is probably boring for you, but yeah, it's a little shit. It's really cool.
That's really nice.
And there's postcards and stuff in here that I haven't looked at. Maybe I'll do that later. But I wanted to show off the shiny thing.
Very cool.
Absolutely. Any other thoughts on Hollow Knight here?
I wish I was better at games because I really, really feel like I would enjoy this game more.
Yeah. Are you playing on PC?
I was playing on PC.
Okay.
I played it on Steam Deck as well.
Okay.
For a while, and I just wish I was better at games because this game is special, and that even for me, it's clear to see that, but I just could not see the entire game through, and I have so many more questions that might not even get answered if I finally beat the game.
Yeah. I feel you.
I'm gonna set myself the goal to try and beat it before Silksong comes out.
Hopefully. I'm doing a quick peek, right? I'm looking at there's a mod to make Hollow Knight easier for newer players. All charms cost 1 slot. Seeing a bench gives you 2 free lifeblood masks. Nail damage is increased using the formula of 8 plus 5 instead of 5 plus 4. I don't know much about installing this type of monitoring thing, but it seems like it doesn't affect the story, just the actual gameplay being like, oh, this is doable. So might be the move.
Yeah,
I don't know for sure.
For the sake of the podcast, I wanted to play like the game as it was.
Sure. No, 100%. Absolutely. I'm thinking if we're talking
yeah,
for the sake of just, I've completed it, I've done it, and that's exactly. Back and forth however you feel about it. I'm in the spot of if you the team behind Breeze into the Clouds made a tweet, a Blue Sky post both the other day about, would you rather have a game that's too easy or too hard? And their poll won that I'd rather have a game that's too hard. And I'm like, that's absurd to me. Because I'd rather have a fun game that was too easy than a hard game that I couldn't beat. And I think that's the sentiment we're sharing right now of like, I couldn't finish Hollow Knight because it was too difficult, et cetera, versus like if Hollow Knight was a little bit easier, but I still got to see this story in this world that you would have obviously paid much more attention to than I did. I think we would have had a different conversation here, but.
Yeah, but at the same time, I think Silksong might not get the attention that it does if it were easier.
Okay.
Because a lot of the discussion when it comes to indie games from like these real gamer dudes that you need a challenge, and a lot of indie games don't provide any meaningful challenge. They just tell stories, for example, and Hollow Knight provided both.
Yeah,
it gave like the indie experience, but with enough challenge to satisfy the gamer boys.
Yeah,
and I think it's what it might be what gets the game so much praise in general.
I think that's where I stand, that there should just be the easy mode. When you open the game and you're like, hey, what do you want? Do you want the experience? Do you want like, this is how we designed Silksong, this is what we expect you to play? If this is not the way you feel like you need to play it, here's one that gives you a little more damage, maybe a little more invincibility in between, like anything that makes it just that little bit more accessible for people. I think it's something that should just be included in the game. I think that's a thing that most games should have if they don't. But I think that's a small enough feature to add that I'm sure Game Boys be like, ew, there's easy mode. Oh, you played on easy mode? Like, that's just no life gamers at the end of the day anyway. But yeah, I think having that accessibility would be great. Perfect. I think all games should think about those things. And I hope Silksong did with coming into the new one. So
totally agree.
Yeah. But with those thoughts on Hollow Knight, guys, we'd love to hear what you guys are thinking about Hollow Knight in the comments below. However, Tofr, we got to figure out what we're playing next month. What are we doing for the book club?
Listen.
Yeah?
It's Valentine's Day month.
It sure is. Valentine's month, baby. Valentine's Day month.
Maybe we should bring the love.
Oh, we're bringing the fucking love, Tofr. You know what? People love their dating sims. People love to feel loved. So for the month of February, we're playing the best dating sim there ever is. One that's going to tug at your heartstrings and make you feel loved. And it's going to make you horny as shit, too. Because we're playing Monster Prom for our book club next month. I'm so excited. I love Monster Prom, baby. So we do? Yes. I love all the Monster Proms. I love Monster Prom. I love Monster Camp. I love Monster Road Trip. I love Monster Con, and it's not even out yet. I'm so excited. Yeah, we were trying to plan our book clubs a little bit more this year. And we're like, ooh, a Monster Prom would be good. And then I was thinking about doing it a couple months away. That's what it is. This is a fucking month. And you're like, it is Valentine's Day. I'm like, ooh, you're right. It is a good place to put it. Yeah, okay, let's do it. Because I picked it up on PlayStation so long ago, and one of the issues they had, they're like, we're gonna stop porting it to consoles because we see like, or specifically PlayStation, Xbox, because we're not getting traction there. It's resources we're putting in to make a PlayStation, Xbox port, and you guys aren't playing it there. You're playing it on PC and Switch. They're like, but please, and then this past year, they're like, all right, here's a double pack. It's Camp and Road Trip coming to Switch, coming to PlayStation, coming to Xbox. I'm like, all right. They got it. So I have Prom on my PlayStation. It's my fresh one. It has not been touched. I want to go in, not blind, but go in completely fresh and see how many endings can I get, how many characters can I date, how many, I don't know what the platinum looks like. I think it's probably very long, but we can dream.
That's what she said.
Yeah, they sure did. I bet Polly did. Let me tell you, man, there's a story with Polly where whole thing's like, I'm dead, and the only way to bring me back is having sex in a very particular, like, formation. The reverse Romanian Wilkinson, Tofr. I guarantee you, I'm getting that ending again and again and again. But no, I love Monster Prom. It's so raunchy in like the best way. It's one of those things of like, if we got Adult Swim, you know, Seth MacFarlane stuff, I'm kind of not really my vibe anymore, but I still like them, like Has Been Hotel, Hell of a Boss. Like that is such a vibe that I love. I think it's funny. I think it's raunchy, and it's just fast, and it fixes my ADHD brain. So I'm like, oh, this is good. I love this. If we got a Monster Prom animated series, I would not shut up about it. I would be endlessly obsessed. If the team making Hell of a Boss and Has Been Hotel was making a Monster Prom show, it's gloves off. It's probably my favorite animated project ever, and I ain't even seen this shit yet. Like, I'm there.
Okay, I'm feeling the hype for this game now.
Enjoy, baby, enjoy. But yes, Medic, hello, welcome. Thank you so much for joining. I hope you're doing well, buddy. But yes, next one we'll be playing Monster Prom. If you guys want to pick it up, the first game should be on everything: Steam, Switch, PlayStation, Xbox. If you want to pick it up for yourself, check the game out and have a good little conversation with us about like what your favorite characters were, who you was bunging, who you didn't like, which endings you got, etc., etc. I did see that we got an ad as soon as I started doing that, which is so annoying, but it's okay. We're good. Danny becomes Navi from Legend of Zelda. If that happens, I will. I would, dude. Hey, listen. Hello. Yeah. Oh, man. But yes, Monster Prom next month. That'll be, I did not mark it on the list here. That is our February 18th, right? February 18th. It'll be a week early this year. Because we were playing something else for the final week is a Steam Next Fest. Right. Yes. Yeah. Life's a highway, baby. It's a long one, let me tell you. But yeah, now real quick, we want to hop into what we've been playing. Tofr, I'd love to hear what you've been playing, but you can't talk about it yet. So we're gonna record that after we end the live. So it'll still be on Thursday's episode. So if you guys want some extra extended content for this episode, it'll be there. If you're watching on YouTube now, you're gonna get what we were talking about. Just keep watching the episode. That's all it is. But I want to take a moment. I won't spend too long on it because I've already made a separate video. Yes, redacted indeed. I have been playing Eternal Strands, which just came out today as of this recording, and it is currently my game of the year. I love it. And you know, it's the same thing I said last year with Odd Sparks. It's the beginning of the year. It's something super early. It's something it's like the first major thing that I think we've had this year that I'm like obsessed with. But it is a Monster Hunter / Shadow of the Colossus / Zelda game. Where you are essentially playing as the Weaver. You play as Bryn. She's a Weaver. She's a warrior. She goes out, hunts these giant machines, and you are like taking back the resources to camp to build armor and weapons, and they have fire, psychic, kinetic energy, or ice powers. And I'm infatuated. I like I said, I won't spend a super long time because there's a whole video of this review that I recommend you check out. It's available on YouTube right now. Not this one. This is the playtest footage, guys. What are you doing in this folder? You're not allowed in here. This is the private stuff that I don't think is private anymore because I already posted it, but it's okay. But yeah, this is one. So they reached out to me, or they made a post on Twitter last year, and they were saying how they wanted some play testers. I got in. I was in the play test. We were actually recording an episode. I think it was one of the book. No, it wouldn't have been a book club because I had to rush out. But we were recording an episode, and as we finished, I'm like, "Hey, this went long. I'm supposed to be in a meeting with some devs right now. I have to go." So we immediately wrapped up and didn't do anything. So I hopped in, like, "Hey, sorry." I'm like, "I'm so sorry. I'm late. We were doing the podcast." Like, it's all good. We're gonna keep it. I'm like, "Yeah, absolutely. You can keep me long. That's 100%. Totally great. Let's do that." But yeah, I got to play the playtest, which was just I think it's the third boss of the game, the Ark of the Living Flame. I got to fight him with really no introduction to this game and how it works. There was no tutorial. It was kind of just throw you into the world. Here's all the toys. Have fun. I got to check out, I think it was 3 of the weapons. I think it was the fire 2-handed, the regular sword and shield, and the kinetic bow. And then here's the big boss. And it's a thing of you Similar to Shadow of the Colossus, you can run in, you can jump on the monster, just start stabbing it and do as much damage until it eventually falls, or you aim for like their weak points. There's exposed skin, there's other things. I don't know why it's all blinking black like that. But each arc has a strand, which you want to get their strands so you can level yourself up. The way to get the strands is all of the arcs have specific ways you have to kill them. If you're looking at the guy on the screen, medic, I won't spoil it for you, but you're about to get spoiled for it. Not a spoiler. The way to beat this guy the right way is he has armor that has little bolts on it. You have to break all of the bolts on his body, which will drop all the armor, and it will expose a spot on his chest. Then you have to climb on his chest, and you like grab with both hands, you just like yank on it, and once you rip it out, he'll just collapse to the floor and die. But then you get the upgrade piece, and then he'll just respawn again later, and you could do it again up to 3 times. You can fight as many times as you want, but for the upgrades, 3 times so you can keep upgrading yourself. It's the scale of everything that I love. Like, I played Shadow of the Colossus for the first time when it came to PS4, and I love that. I didn't have the nostalgia for it like a lot of other people did, but I was like, this is really cool. This is a spectacle. And like, I've always said this with Star Wars, like, I didn't watch Star Wars growing up. Episode 7 was like my first, I'm going to the theater to see a Star Wars movie.
Okay.
This was my Shadow of the Colossus. This was the first time I got to play Shadow of the Colossus as it was coming out. I got to experience it when the world was getting, obviously beforehand even. And I'm in love with it. It's so cool. The spectacle, the designs, the music, the weapons, the armor, the characters are great. They're all super cool. Everyone's pretty in depth. And there's all different side quests. You can have conversations with them. There's just so much in this game. For this being the studio's debut title, like it's fucking awesome. I'm in love with it.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
I'm loving how much color there is to it.
Yes.
Even now, like if you're watching, you can see like it's a really dark scene, and still the colors are kind of popping out.
Yeah. Yeah, and the world's like kind of got this infection going on, so there's a lot of purples and greens. I'm wearing the default armor in this clip, so my armor is a lot of red and whites. But as you get new materials and you craft them, there's 3 different kinds. I forget, it's like woven metals and something else, but the different materials you pick up come with different like settings, I guess. I don't know. But when you go back to craft something, they'll be like, all right, I need 5 woven materials. I need 3 metal materials, and whatever pieces you have of those you can use to put in. It's not like this has to have the super rare armor. You could put in some basic metal, but if you put in the super rare armor, you get better results. And depending what monster it came from, it'll be like, oh, this will have more fire resistance. This will have more overall defense. This will have more ice resistance, etc. Not something I was super fixated on as I went through. But it did come in handy where I'm like, cool, I'm about to fight a fire guy. Let me put on my fire armor. I'm about to fight the ice guy. Let me put on my ice armor, etc. So yeah, just has so much fun. I'm on my 2nd playthrough now. I think I didn't formally say that I got a key for it, but I got a key for it. And then I got a 2nd key for the PlayStation version, which I'm currently playing through now. So nice. We're having a good time. So I'm probably about 50 hours of the game so far.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I got the first key back December like 10th or something like that. I got it before Christmas, so I basically got to play it all holiday. And I'm like, oh, I wish it was on PlayStation. They're like, hey, you want a PlayStation key? I'm like, I sure do. Give me.
Come to Danny.
Yeah. I do see medic. What? Special content that makes me watch a video I've already watched. Exactly, baby. I just got that today. So far, it's so fun. Oh, that's fun, medic. I'm glad you're enjoying it, dude. Keep going, because she gets fucking dope. Shit gets fucking real. There's such cool enemies, dude.
Yeah, I might pick this one up on Game Pass to just give it a try, because 100% really cool.
Yeah, definitely recommend it. It's in a spot where I don't think the game is, after talking about Hollow Knight, right? I don't think the game is super challenging. I think all the enemies are they're big dudes. They're slow enough to be like, oh man, they're too fast for me to fight. I think it's a very like methodical type of thing. You have the chance to run and heal. I think the game is very forgiving of like whatever would have killed you. If you had any ounce of health and they hit you, it will take you down to like 0. You won't die. You'll be like, this is it. This is my final stretch. If I get hit again, I'm done. So you want to grab it like that's the moment you want to take your potion. If you don't, you're like, I can tough it out. You're fucked. You're gonna die. Don't do that. Don't be a hero.
Right.
And if you don't have a potion, you better fucking run and find one, because they're all around the map. You just got to find the bags for them. But like, I've tried, I'm like, oh, he's almost weak. I could take him out. And there's so many great clips. I wish I knew. I have 130 clips in this folder of me playing this game. It's a lot. It's a lot. But I wish I knew. I didn't have it marked, but there was so many good ones. The kinetic blade, right? What you do is you hold it for a super attack, and when you let go, it'll launch you up in the air. So you kind of like carry yourself up. I have so many clips where I'm trying to get up to grab a monster on the chest as they're punching down. So it's like, and they just knuckle me down into the dirt. I'm like, oh no, I look so stupid. But it's so fun. It's so cool. Yeah.
Cool.
It dropped on Steam today, PlayStation today, and Xbox today. It is on Game Pass. If you have Game Pass, please go check out Eternal Strands. This is their first game. Super dope. If you want to hear me talk more about it, I did a full review that came out yesterday where I go a little more in depth on like my thoughts and things I enjoyed, et cetera, et cetera. I already took longer on this than I wanted to today, but you got me talking about Eternal Strands, so here I am. But yeah, front runner for me right now for Game of the Year. Nice. Unless this game's this year's absolute bangers, like I think this will be in my top 10 for sure. Like it's a tough one to beat for me.
Damn. Yeah. It looks so polished as well. Like for a debut game, this looks really like high level.
Yeah. I'll see if I can find the one. It's kind of goofy. Where's it at? This one with the bird. I think it is. No, this is the giant. Fuck, I want to find it. It's really funny because I don't know what I did. I don't know what I did to him, but I like froze a boss. Okay. Yeah, here it is. Hold on. Here, I found it. Here. Hold on. All right. So, this guy's the Highland Ice Claw. He's probably the one I had the most trouble getting his strand. And I won't spoil because the game will, if you can't figure it out, the game will eventually teach you how to like get the strand. But his is a little more complicated than some of the others. And I say that like it's really not, but I don't know what I did here. But he went to fly and I said, "You're not going anywhere." And then he didn't go anywhere for a minute. I think it's about to. Come on, do it. Do it. Here we go. Okay, so he goes up and he goes to slam down, and just stops. He's supposed to slam on the ground so that like you get thrown off, and I'm like, I guess I'll keep smacking. I guess I don't know. And this is before I knew how to get his weak spots. I wasn't really sure what I was supposed to do. But then let me see. I jump off. Yeah, I jump off. I'm like, you good, dude? I'm like, maybe I can blow up his feet. And I was like, huh? Buddy? What are you doing? Yeah, this happened. Eventually, I think I get him to move again. But yeah, I just thought it was funny. But yeah, no, you're right. The polish I had no major, like the game broke, this happened, blah blah blah, like nothing like that really happened to me. It was pretty high quality. I had some performance issues, but I think it's also me without trying to record footage. I had no issues. The game ran buttery smooth on my PC. But when I'm trying to open a CPU intensive program to record the stuff, you could see probably some screen tearing in my footage there. But all in all, like game ran buttery smooth. And on PlayStation, it's been nothing but just perfection. I'm loving it. Yeah. Boy, oh boy, Eternal Strands. Let me put that timestamp in. Now, this is the part where Tofr's going to talk about Redacted, but that's not in this part of the stream because you guys aren't allowed to know yet.
But they can know what game it is.
Okay,
I just can't talk about it yet.
Oh, can we tell them what game it is?
I think we can tell them. I mean, people who have an eye on like the release schedule will probably already know what game I'm this excited about. But
okay.
I think we can mention it. Citizen Sleeper 2.
Yeah, okay, got it. Okay, hey guys, if the channel gets canceled because of that, Tofr did it. But yeah, so in the full episode, we're gonna have your review for Citizen Sleeper 2. And by full episode, I mean right now. Tofr McTofrson. Yes. I don't know where that came from.
I like it.
That's the new name. Nameplate and everything. Okay. We are here to talk about Citizen Sleeper 2. You've been playing it. Yes. I want to hear all about it.
Well, thanks to you, I received the key to play it early.
I got you.
Now, I'm not going to lie. I was a huge fan of the original Citizen Sleeper. It was my game of the year back in 2022.
Of course.
So I was very, very hyped for a sequel.
Yeah.
maybe for the people who don't know Citizen Sleeper, I can just go into what the original was about.
Absolutely.
So Citizen Sleeper saw you play as a sleeper, a kind of android with an emulated mind, trying to escape the company that owns them and ending up on Erland's Eye, a space station with plenty of places to hide, but also lots of people to meet. Gameplay mostly came down to making dialogue choices and using dice to do actions and advance clocks that would further the story. While the art by Guillaume Saint-Gelin and music by Amos Roddy are both exceptional, it was the writing by solo dev Damian Martin, also known as Jump Over the Age, that was the absolute star of the show. It was sci-fi in the best way possible, telling tales of humanity through the fantastical. Of course, that did mean that my hopes for the sequel were high, but at the same time, I was a little anxious. Okay. How would Gareth follow up such a phenomenal and unique game? Do they give us more of the same, or do they change things up? Sequels usually go bigger in multiple senses, but what would that mean for a game like this?
Yeah.
Luckily, Citizen Sleeper 2 Starward Vector quickly eases my worries.
Hell yeah.
By having Saint-Gelin and Roddy return, there's an immediate sense of continuation from the first game. This is definitely the same universe that we visited before.
Okay.
And it feels really good to have this sense of continuity, which is the right word. Continuation isn't the word.
Yeah, it sounded real to me.
Yeah. But it feels really good to have this sense because the game immediately sets out introducing some of its new gameplay mechanics.
Oh yeah. So yeah, I want to hear more. So for someone I haven't touched the first or the second one, plan to at some point here, eventually one day.
Both in Game Pass.
It's true. It's true. I just so you mentioned some of these new things. What are some of the new things if someone has played the first one or hasn't played the first one, what they can expect in this one?
Well, most of the gameplay is pretty similar to the first game.
Okay.
So you still get a set of dice that are pre-rolled every cycle.
Okay.
That you can then use to take actions. Every cycle there's this number of actions that are available to you, and you choose which dice to use for which action. There's always going to be more actions than you have dice for.
Yeah.
So you really get to choose like which parts of the story you really want to invest in. It's also important to like choose what number on your die to use for which action, because the higher the number, the more likely you'll have success with your dice roll.
Okay.
The other major gameplay loop in the first game was the dialogue choices. This is basically like most of the game you're reading lots and lots of text. And in these big blocks of text you will be presented with some pretty difficult choices at times.
Okay.
Where, for example, something that really was the case in the first game and they've managed to continue in the second game is there are characters that are gonna ask you to trust them in some way, and you have to choose whether you do so or not. And in the first game, I really liked that the game was all about giving that trust, and maybe sometimes you would like that trust wouldn't get repaid, but a lot of the times it did, and it managed to let your sleeper build actual bonds with people.
Okay.
And I really like that about the game. And Citizen Sleeper 2 does that as well, but with one of the new gameplay mechanics, the contracts.
Okay.
It gives more. How should I say this? It's another way to like build those bonds with people by giving them your trust when you're out on these contracts.
Okay, so these are like side quests or like extra events you're doing, or like
you can call them side quests. Most of them are important to the main story.
Yeah. Well,
main stories, I'd have to say, because the game is all about the people you meet along the way.
Yeah.
So most of these missions you want to do. Sometimes you have to advance the story, but most of the time you want to know what's going on with these people.
Okay.
You know?
Cool.
But the thing is, Citizen Sleeper 2 starts off with your sleeper waking up from a reboot that's been interrupted. So basically, your crewmate, Seraphin, he initiated this reboot to get you off your addiction to stabilizer. Well, it's not an addiction, you need it to survive. But
sounds like an addiction to me.
But he wants to make it so that you don't need the stabilizer anymore. Especially since the both of you are working for this man called Lane.
Okay.
And he's a pretty evil dude. And he kind of controls your sleeper with these injections that you need. So it's good to like get rid of those, but then when the reboot is happening, Lane crashes the party. So that's not good.
Coward.
Now, you manage to overpower him and get away on your spaceship, the rig. But the thing is, because of the reboot being interrupted, you have lost all of your memories. So, for example, Seraphin, the only reason that you trust him is because he helped you get away from Lane. But him telling you that he initiated the reboot to help you, you have to take him on his word.
Okay.
So that I think that really adds another layer to like, do I give people my trust or not?
Right. Because
you don't know who to trust, and you have no idea. You have so little to base your decision on, and that makes the impact of giving people that trust, and then seeing that trust being worth it, so much more special.
That's really cool. I like that.
Yeah.
I wonder, you said earlier that like the dice, right? So you're making the decision, you're putting the dice where they need to go for whichever action you want to take. You said they were like predetermined. Is it at the start of, we'll say like, on level 2, we're going to roll the 6 dice and they are random? Or like if you and I sat down the exact same time, we both played level 2, are we going to have the exact same dice? Is it like level 2?
Random.
Okay.
They're random. And the thing is, the sequel introduces more ways of messing with your dice.
Okay.
Because, for example, your dice, I think in the first game they were also able to break if they were put under too much stress.
Ooh,
but
okay.
now, if you take too much, that like if you don't feed yourself for a couple of cycles and you're starving, and then your stress levels reach maximum, you kind of die.
Okay.
But you immediately come back to life, but you are damaged. And because you are damaged, one of your dice is now a glitch dice.
Okay. And what does that mean?
And
for
glitch
me?
dice, well, the thing is, so usually depending on which number you roll on your die, you'll have a couple of options. If you roll a 6, you have 100% positive outcome.
Okay.
If
perfect.
you roll a 5, it's 50-50 between a positive outcome and a neutral outcome.
On a 5? That would be on my favor. Okay.
Yeah. On a 4, it's 25% positive, 50% neutral, and 25% negative outcome.
Okay.
And it gets worse the lower you go.
Yikes.
With glitch dice, with glitch dice, they don't have a number. They just give you a 20% chance of a positive outcome and an 80% chance of a negative.
I don't like that. I don't like that. And but can I fix that glitch dice? Can I like do something to undamage myself, or am I permanently have this glitch dice?
That's permanently.
Wow.
Like if you break your dice, that you lose that die.
Yeah.
For a while until you can fix those dice can be fixed again.
Okay.
You just get one die less on the start of your next cycle. But glitch dice, they're forever, baby.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Shit, that sounds wild. Like it almost makes you want to do like, I don't know how quickly. Can I make all my dice glitch die if I just keep not feeding myself? Yeah. I'm wondering if I do a glitch die run to see how bad can I do. Like that sounds like a really fun thing to me. As someone who's not touched the games, of like how chaotic could this get? That sounds like really cool.
The thing is, it's chaotic, but it's not that much fun. I had moments in the game where I only had glitch dice, and it got frustrating quickly.
Okay.
Because there's not really a negative outcome. Like, you just end the cycle and start a new cycle.
Yeah.
And you once again have your glitch dice. And the story doesn't continue until you get your positive outcome.
Oh.
So you just get kind of stuck in this loop.
So so is it like failing a run then? Like it's like you didn't pass the mission, so you just start the whole mission over, get new dice, and then go again?
Yeah.
So like there's the chance to really soft lock yourself on these, or
kind of.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you were saying like you get the glitch die by like not feeding yourself, right? Is there is that the player's just being neglectful? Is it a like eating takes up a chunk of my day, and if I do that, I don't get to I won't progress further? Is it like a real give and take choice of how you would end up getting yourself these bad die, or how does that function?
You have to you have to buy food.
Okay.
You have to buy supplies to feed yourself, and it's pretty expensive. Like, I think supplies are more expensive than fuel.
Jesus.
Which is
okay.
Kind of weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, the thing is when you run out of food, for example, when you're on contracts, you feed. These contracts will usually last a couple of cycles, and every cycle you just lose one supply, but you eat automatically.
Yeah.
But the thing is, when all of your food is gone, the stress on your dice multiplies.
Oh.
So they break more easily.
Yeah.
So that makes the rest of the game a bit harder again. It's something.
Huh. That's super sick. I'm like, hey, it's every time you talk about Citizen Sleeper, right? We're like, I know I wanted to play the first one, and I just got away from me over and over again. The second one is here in 2 days as of recording this, where I'm like, fuck, this game sounds so cool, and like, I want to house the first one like tonight to have to be ready for Thursday. Right? I'm like, I got the second one on Game Pass. Let's go. And like mathematically, just can't happen. Just not enough hours in the day. No. Fuck, it sounds so cool.
I get it. And the cool thing is, like, what I haven't even mentioned yet is the game does go bigger than the original, because in the original you were stuck on Erlin's Eye, the spaceship.
Yeah.
But now you have to travel between different spaceships. To meet more people, to uncover more parts of the story, and to find a way to get Lane off your back. You have to stay on the move, because Lane is chasing you, and every time you stay on one spaceship for too many cycles, he gets closer and closer. So you have to stay on the move, but the thing is, to stay on the move, you need supplies, you need fuel, so you have to work to get those. And it creates this gameplay loop that's really satisfying.
That's fun. And so if Lane catches you, is that like you failed the mission today? I
haven't let him catch me yet.
Fair enough. Valid.
I should try that just to see what happens.
Because I'm wondering if it's not a bad ending, but like this is another mission set of like I've been captured by Lane, I have to escape type deal, or if it is just like, oh, you died. Time to start the. So we say cycle. Is that a day? Is that a week? Is that a run?
Yeah, that's a day.
It's a day. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think if he manages to catch up to you, there are probably ways to get away from him.
Okay.
In the first game, you were also being chased by someone, and if he managed to catch up, things just happened. It's basically like a tabletop game. Things just evolve, and you have to adapt. It's really cool. It's so cool. I know I've joked before about already knowing my game of the year, but it's gonna take something really special to beat this.
Yeah,
like
I could tell.
I am so grateful to you that I got to play this early because of you.
Of course, yeah. You had behind the scenes, right? You had I think I got it like sometime in the afternoon, which would have been like much later for you. I'm like, he's probably asleep already. So I said that, I'm like, hey, Merry Christmas or some shit like that.
Yeah.
Just with the like, hey, here's the code for Citizen Sleeper 2. Here's the embargo. Don't break the embargo. And you're like, holy fuck. And I was like, and I was like, you were looking forward to it more than I, like 100%. Like you had played it and everything. So, and I didn't know, and another code, which, redacted, I was like, I don't know if so many games has you like set up. I don't know the process. If they're like, hey, when we get this key, like this one's in your hands, or like what if it would go to someone else, and either way. But I was like, in those cases, I'm like, cool. Then if you already have it, I could, give it a shot. But in this case, I'm like, oh yeah, this is one that like I would want Tofr to cover, as opposed to someone who's like, I'm jumping into the second one and I don't really have the love for the first one yet, that I could be like, oh, it's so much better in this way than the other. And I think having your perspective on it felt like the right way anyway. So
I'm just grateful. And the thing is, if you're invested in like this universe since the first game, there's so much here that you'll recognize. For example, there are characters from the first game that
I was
make an
about to
appearance
ask.
here.
Okay.
But also after the release of the first game, Gareth wrote these Elion dispatches, which were like radio messages from inside this universe. And you get to meet people who are mentioned in these broadcasts in this game. And it's like Gareth has this huge idea of what this universe is like, who lives there, what happens there, and what the consequences are of everything that happens there. And it feels so alive in a way that I haven't experienced with many other games.
Yeah.
And it makes me kind of sad that Citizen Sleeper 2 is going to be the final video game in the series.
Yeah.
But at the same time, they're working on a tabletop RPG.
They sure are.
For this universe. And I think that's gonna be massive.
Listen, Gareth, I'm just saying, if you need some play testers or anything, I'm sure we could figure out something. I think that'd be really fun. We could do a cool stream with that. You know what I mean? I look at the style, right, and it's giving so much cyberpunk. Both the style as well as the franchise. And I think about Cyberpunk Edge Runners, right, which is dope ass cyberpunk anime. And I'm just like, fuck, if we got a Citizen Sleeper anime, that shit would go hard. Like I'd be all for it.
It would.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Man. Any other thoughts on Citizen Sleeper? Anything else you got to tell the people about? Thoughts we should
I'm just gonna say that this is an instant recommendation to anyone who enjoys anything Fellow Traveler has published, or even Annapurna Interactive has published, because I feel like they both really love good narratives. Anyone who loves warm human sci-fi in the vein of Duncan Jones's Moon, or even Becky Chambers' Wayfarer's book series, you're gonna love this, and like play both of the games. They're both on Game Pass. Just yeah. They're also for RPGs. They're not overly long.
Right.
Like
I
finished my game
10 hours.
Yeah.
First one?
Something like that. And this one I finished in about 12 hours, and I took my time with it. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Damn. Citizen Sleeper.
It's gonna be Game of the Year. It's gonna be. I'm locking it in. I'm locking it in. Game of the Year.
Okay.
Beat this, developers.
Go tell Jeff, because I'll tell you, man. We'll see. Jeff might be like, you know what? I heard Plucky Squire 2 is coming out this year. We're going to nominate that instead. Oh, man. Hell yeah. Guys, Citizen Sleeper 2 out today, with this episode coming out, available PlayStation.
Tomorrow.
You're right. Sorry.
It's Friday.
Right. I was thinking Thursday was the 31st. Right. It's the 31st. So Friday, not today.
Yeah.
You got checked. Yeah, not today, suckers. Yes, we out tomorrow on its Steam, PlayStation, Xbox, and then also Game Pass or the Switch. Is it on Switch?
And Switch, yeah.
Switch, cool. There you go. Play it everywhere, baby. Now back to those other guys in the past that cut to us, and you can talk to them. And we're back. I don't edit it in there. I'll just drop it in the text. Oh boy. Because I was focused on getting the edit for Eternal Strands done. I've played nothing else this weekend that I can talk about yet. Maybe next week I'll have something fun. But anything else you played at all that you were interested in playing?
I haven't. I have a couple of games that I'm gonna play soon.
Okay.
But I can't mention yet.
Fair enough. So you guys are gonna have to stay tuned for more content, which means for now, timestamp. We're just gonna get into what releases this week. I was gonna say what we've been playing. We just did that part. Indie releases for this week. We are talking the week of the document scrolled. January 30th through February 5th. To start off, we've got Techno Banter on January 30th for PlayStation and Switch. Nope, PlayStation and PC. No Switch. Fuck you, Switch. We did do a sponsor stream for that one the other day. That game where we played as like the bouncer at a nightclub. That one was really cool. It comes out this week. Leica Age Through Blood on January 30th for Switch. Tiny Kingdom on January 30th for PC. Whispers of the Eyeless on January 30th for PC and Early Access. Brave Escape on January 31st for PC. Citizen Sleeper 2 Starward Vector on January 31st for PlayStation, Xbox, Switch, and PC. Also coming to Game Pass. The My Little Life on January 31st for PC. Spirit Swap Lo-Fi Beats to Match 3-2 is February 3rd on Xbox and PC. Blood Bar Tycoon is on February 4th for PC. Rift of the Necro Dancers on February 5th for PC. And While Waiting is on February 5th for PC. Any bangers that you're looking forward to?
There's a lot of bangers in there. Like While Waiting, I'm really curious to find out what that's all about.
Yeah.
Because it's about the art of waiting.
Yeah, I remember seeing this one.
Yeah, it had a demo during the last Next Fest.
Yep. I didn't get to check that one out, but
yeah, I'm curious about that one. I've been excited for Spirit Swap for a very long time. But I mean, there's only one game this week that you know.
That's right, baby. One game this week that we all can't wait to play. Motherfucking Rift of the Necro Dancer, baby. I just have to play a demo for that one. But yes. Yeah, no, I know you're insanely excited for Citizen Sleeper, so that'll be a great conversation to have.
Yeah. Also, My Little Life, because that's one of those games like Rusty's Retirement that takes only half of your screen. So yeah, but it's more like The Sims on the bottom of your screen.
Oh,
so I'm
really cute,
doesn't it?
Oh, no, chat, look at this shit, chat. Look at this. You got a little garage band and the gym, and it's on your PC. It's down here doing the thing. Yeah, this looks really cute.
It's on the Windows XP PC apparently.
That's crazy. That Windows XP, but Windows 10. What the fuck? That's 11. I don't know what that is. Windows is weird. Bat. But now I have to think that we're talking about Citizen Sleeper, so this episode is going to go long, so let's try and W key here, timestamp. Real quick, we wanted to talk about an indie spotlight for this week, and this is one that I've mentioned before. We've talked about it on the channel for sure. We've played the demo for it, and I'm in it, ladies and gentlemen. Legends of Boom is one that I wanted to mention. The devs had reached out. I had no idea that the game had actually come out already. The trailer's not loading for some reason. Hold on. I think Steam is broken.
Oh no.
This one worked. Did it though, team? Here we go. Team.
No.
All right, sorry, we got distracted. So it's this real-time strategy game where you just get like a deck of cards. So deck building, Tofr. I don't know what I'm saying. But you just throw a bunch of things onto this like chessboard, and then at all times they just go. There's cannons, there's flying vehicles, there's healing, like everything just happens. The gameplay was really fun. It's really chaotic and fast. It's this PvP. I think you can play against bots too if you just want to get the practice in. But the major selling point, and I'm hoping this trailer has them, is no, the trailer doesn't have them. Shit. Anyway, this is the gameplay. But we're here for my man Flip Rimrod. This man right here, Flip Rimrod, who is voiced by the guy, he's the narrator for NBA Jam. You know, the Boom Shakalaka guy. Great guy. Got to have so many conversations with him. He's super chill. The first conversation where we meet, he's just holding the actual version of the puppet and is talking to me with the puppet. And I'm like, this is very cool. I don't know if I'm supposed to be like, yay, Muppet. Like I didn't know the vibe to give, but I was like, this is fucking dope. This is cool though. Wait, this is really cool. It was really fun. And Flip Rimrod is this just like terrible childhood, drug addictions, alcohol addiction, like a whole 9 yards. But he's now hosting this esports game within the game. And there's so many different conversations where he's talking about the people around him and how dumb other people are. And I feel like there's so much improv that went into this one that they just like put the man on the mic and just run it. Just go. But they reached out to me after playing the demo, and we had a few technical issues on stream when we were playing it. And I was like, hey, this is what's happened to me. Like, hey, we fixed it. By the way, you want to be in the game? I'm like, yeah. Kinda. I don't have the tweet pulled up, but yeah. So in the game, one of the dialogues that can show up is a conversation with me with CGDannyB. We have a whole conversation about like I'm talking about indie games. Like, it's a great spot for you, but like as I bring up like Sesame Street, right? Because we've done the Elmo bit, and they're like, like wait, like St. Elmo's fire? Like I'm like, yes, Mr. Elmo, Mr. And like just whole conversations, blah blah blah. So that's a fun little bit that we had in there. So if you play the game, which is currently free on Steam, you can just check it out and play a bunch of it. It's only got 8 user reviews, so please go download this game, check it out. It's free to play. Only 8.
Jesus,
we gotta get in there. We gotta get in there and check it out. I mean, this is one where I gotta leave a review, and I don't know if I didn't receive a key in it, but I feel like I have to disclose that I'm in it. I don't know what that looks like on Steam, so I don't know. But yeah, I would leave a review for that one then. But yeah, Legends of Boom, it's really fun. I like the gameplay. But yeah, just listening to Flip Rimrod talk about anything, he'll just ramble for minutes. For like, you could just sit here and just let the screen sit there and let Flip talk and just have a great time. You should play the game, but like, yeah, it's great. It's so great.
Cool.
Yeah, would recommend, guys.
Add it to library.
Here you go, baby. I'm going to do the same thing because, again, I'm not signed into Steam. I have to open the program later. I'll do that after this. Okay. But with that timestamp, we've reached the end of our show. Yes. Guys, thank you so much for watching. If you are watching this on YouTube, be sure to leave a like and a comment. What do you think of Hollow Knight? Are you excited for Legends of Boom to check that one out? Are you going to check out Eternal Strands or Citizen Sleeper after hearing those reviews on it? So on and so forth. Be sure to tune in next week. We got some more stuff going on because we got every Thursday on your favorite podcast services. Tofr, you had a few plugs you wanted to drop in here. So if you want to take the time to do that.
I do. My written review of Citizen Sleeper will be up on so many games.co.uk by the time that this episode goes live on YouTube and Spotify and all of the other platforms. On Sunday, I will be part of the KoopaCast podcast, where we'll be talking about Citizen Sleeper 2. When this releases on Thursday, there will be a video on the Play Nice Kids YouTube channel where you can watch the first 65 minutes of gameplay from Citizen Sleeper 2.
65? And that's more than an hour.
Exactly. And lastly, on Monday, on the So Many Games YouTube channel, we'll be doing a discussion on Citizen Sleeper 2 as well.
Hell yeah, dude. Are any of those live? Or are they just going to go on YouTube and watch after the fact? Is there anything they have to tune into?
It's after the fact.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Bet. That's so cool. That's a lot of Citizen Sleeper, brother. You're going to be repeating yourself a lot.
I don't care.
Fair enough. And then for me, real quick, because we're normally not live on Tuesday, so I get to remind you guys, hey, D+ Ultras tonight. If you don't know what that is, it is me with a bunch of other friends. We are playing Kids on Bikes, but we're doing a US version of My Hero Academia. For a little bit of context, right now, my character's girlfriend just got kidnapped by my evil supervillain father, and we're trying to figure out what we're doing in life. It's a tough time for all of us. Do we stay in school? Do we drop out? We don't know, but we'll find out tonight on twitch.tv/crit-hit Chronicles. So that'll be lit. I'm loving this game. Cujo is such a great DM. I have such a fun time with this group of people. If you want to see just the chaos kick in, be sure to catch that tonight on Twitch.
Okay. Do the episodes remain on Twitch afterwards?
They do remain on Twitch. They're also on Cujo's YouTube channel. I think I got a notification while we were live here from Crit Hit Chronicles. I can only assume that is last week's episode that just went up. So I think you can currently catch up on season 1, and we're on season 2 right now. We're on episode 4 of season 2 out of 6. So it's a ride, everybody. There's a whole episode where we're a bunch of teenagers trying to figure out who's going to sit next to who in a van. It's about a 30 to 40 minute conversation, and we're all for it. It's such a great time. It's such a great time. Oh, man. But guys, thank you so much for joining. I appreciate you guys hanging out. Be sure to play some Monster Prom for next month's book club, because I got time in between this and D Plus Ultra, so I might play some Monster Prom. We'll see what happens. But I digress. Now, Tofr, we got to do our thing real quick. But thank you guys. I love you. Mwah.